you did an excellent job flying. We got some things that we need to work on in the future and keep practicing. But as I see it quite often, and this is quite common, everybody has a tendency to want to crab the airplane to the left, and that's why it's so important to look down that row of rivets to the far end of the runway. Initially you were crabbing quite a bit to the left. We did have a little bit of a left crosswind. And as the day went on, you got much better at doing a crosswind landing and getting the fuselage straight, at which point the wheel landings then really improved and were very good. It's very important to really focus your eyes at the far end of the runway. If you're finding yourself having problems landing, it's because you're looking in too close, halfway down the runway or right over the nose. And that's where you normally get your bounces and skips. So it's really important where you're looking. The next thing is your touchdowns you were greasing them on like butter, but everybody's hesitant to check the airplane or to pin the airplane. And as soon as you feel the drag of those wheels, just ease the yoke forward a good inch, inch and a half. The nose will not really tip down at all. The nose will stay right where it's at, but the yoke will move in about an inch, inch and a half. And what we're doing is releasing the back pressure that we were holding as we were touching down. If you find yourself, we had some landings here in the grass where we kept bouncing. If you find yourself bouncing, usually what's happening is you're just driving the airplane into the ground, and then the spring gear is just putting you back in the air. So what needs to happen is we need to flare a little bit more, get the descent rate to slow down, and then it'll roll right on. At that point, be ready to go ahead and check it and pin it.
I want you to practice stopping with just picking your heels off the floor, rotating your toes. There you go. Good. I don't know if you've been flying that way in the past or not, but I need you to practice that if you haven't.
I always have my heels just a little bit off the floor.
No, heels need to be on the floor. Yeah, and then, except for when you need brake, and then all you're doing is lifting your heels and locking your toes. So look at this row of rivets right here is what you're looking at. Not the row of rivets in the middle, but the row of rivets right on the side. That's all we care about on takeoff and landing is that row of rivets.
One notch of flaps for takeoff?
No flap.
No flaps?
Nope. So what I like to see is a flow, and the flow starts back here, fuel on both, power flaps open, flaps set, trim set, tail wheel lock we don't need, mixtures rich, your prop, come across the lower panel and come back across the upper panel. If we do that flow for every phase of flight, there's no way we can get in trouble. So I believe in checklists, but I also believe if you do everything with a flow, you'll have what you need to keep you out of trouble.
Gotcha.
We're taking off a 2,000-foot grass runway that's pristine, it's smoother than asphalt, and we're going to just go straight out to the west here. So put your hand flat on your leg, like that, and I'll tell you when you can touch the yoke. Go to home.
The tail.
Don't touch nothing. Don't touch nothing. Don't touch nothing. Okay, you ease back on the yoke. And you work over there on to the right up.
You can cut that in editing.
No, we're not. That's exactly how I fight with all you guys. I do know I'll give you a little bit of an out because I also know you were coming right around those trees, but the initial break you didn't need to. Okay, Roy, if you would please let go of the yoke. You can go off and touch the yoke. Put your hand flat on your leg. And on the trim, you got to trim and give it about 20 seconds to go into its position. So you really keep an eye on the nose and the relationship to the horizon. Hey, Roy, give me a right turn. Don't touch the yoke. North. And you can bank up as steep as 45-degree bank and be able to get the airplane to come back level. Once you go past 45, it can get a little dicey. Just set your cruise power where you want it, and then play with your trim. Keep the nose needs to this cruises with its nose down about 5 inches below the horizon. bottom of the wing should be pretty much level. What happens, you see, you keep picking up speed, so the nose keeps coming back up because we're accelerating. As you know, this is a trim airplane. So, Roy, the reason we're doing this procedure is that if you ever have an aileron cable or an elevator cable break, I don't want to read about you not being with us. And all you have to do is set yourself up on a long final, fly the airplane just like you're doing, and land the airplane. Ease the left rudder all the way to the stop, and I want you to keep the wings level. Keep going. All the way to the stop. All the way.
There.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. And I'll ease it back out. And do it with the right rudder. What are we doing here? We're learning how much travel there is and how much pressure it takes. Keep the wings level. And we're also practicing cross-controlling the aircraft. Right? It's your airplane.
I have the aircraft.
So just relax your yoke and add full power right now, but don't push forward. Just full power. Don't push forward. Now recover. See how much pressure it takes? Come on, right rudder, get that right foot working. Okay? So you can see, if you're not ready for it, you're way behind the airplane. Get the nose level. Get the nose down more. Nose down. Flaps 20.
Flaps 20.
Good.
Yeah.
And then nose an inch above the horizon. Climb out. Get the eyes above the dash.
Alright, nose an inch above the horizon.
Okay, let's ease the power back and finish cleaning up. Go ahead and go to cruise power.
Cruise power, alright.
Finish cleaning up the airplane. Okay, let go of the yoke. You can't touch the yoke no more. Okay, 10 degrees of flaps.
10 degrees of flaps.
And the throttle back to about 1900 RPM.
Throttle 1900.
Let the airplane descend power, put them into it.
Okay, touchdown point 45.
Okay.
Left base. 20 degrees of flaps.
Yep.
Okay, no one on long final.
Yep, looks good. You can go ahead and make a call, let them know we're at third final.
Kendallville, traffic Skywagon, 41 Bravo, X-ray turning, base to final, 28, Kendallville.
Okay, full flap.
Full flaps, there's 30, there's 40.
Going back on the power. Get your look in that roll rivets right down the center line.
Got it.
A little bit of power, leave the nose down. Let yourself move over to the center line more. You're on the left side of the runway too much. Get the left wing down, right rudder. Left wing down, right rudder. Get the power in. You're flaring for a 3-point. You're forming down. Boom. Push forward, push forward. Push, push, push. Get over your feet. Put the tail down. Go ahead and stop. Push forward, unload it, then reload it. If the tail shimmies, pick it up a little bit and then reload it.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and stop. Now this time I'm going to have you add full power until the tail comes up. When the tail comes up, I want you to come back to half power, and I want you to push forward just as hard as you can on the yoke. And we're going to drive the airplane to the end of the runway. I want the roll rivets on the center line.
Okay, got it.
Okay, and you're up. Off we go. Wait till the tail wants to come up. Don't push until the tail comes up. Now push as hard as you can forward. Half power, less power, less. Look at that roll rivets. Get it on the center line. Squeeze the rudders where you want to go. Squeeze the rudders where you want to go. Push hard. Steer them feet. Come on. More power. You don't have enough power. Add power. Let's go. Go, go, go. Airplane.
You got it.
So what happened there is we didn't have enough power and the tail started to fall down on you.
Well, I was pulling the power. I was going to let the tail settle to taxi off.
4 miles to the west.
We're going around.
We're there.
We're going flying when we get to the end. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to run. You've been laying on so much grass that with grass, as long as you're on the runway, you're happy. What we're trying to do is be precision flying now and put that rear rivets down the sail out of the runway.
Gotcha.
We do that by squeezing the rudders where we want to go.
When you say squeeze the rudder, are you...
Just use as much as you need to get the airplane where it's at, but don't jam it.
Okay.
And what I do, if I need rudder, I push with one foot, and I also push with the other foot so I don't overdo it.
That's what I was curious if that's what you meant.
That's what I meant by
Squeeze
squeeze.
the rudder, okay.
Yes. What happens is some people push, but they don't realize how far they pushed. And by squeezing with the other rudder, by pushing with the other rudder, that you're not going to over control the rudders. And the same thing, if you get the airplane swerving, push both rudders together and lock them until the swerve stops. Let the airplane roll a little bit in whatever direction it's going, and then squeeze the rudder back to get the airplane where you want it to go.
All right, how's that look for altitude?
Right on the money.
All right. 1,500.
15 inches.
15 inches, manifold.
And then you're probably going to have about 1,800 on the RPM when you get it being the numbers.
All right, 10 degrees of flaps.
Yep. So what's happening is your subconscious is, once you get over the runway, your subconscious is flaring the airplane for a 3-point. And you got to just keep kind of like letting go of the yoke so that you're not subconsciously pulling it back until we get down about 3 feet off the ground.
I would not disagree with you. That's, yeah. What do you want to do here?
Same thing, full power, and I just want you, because this runway is a lot shorter than I thought it was, just full power, and I want you to keep the airplane on the ground till past the white fixed distance markers.
Perfect.
So you're going to peg it, you're going to pin the airplane, and you're going to just drive it down with the roll rivets on the center line.
Got it.
There you go. Just let the yoke float until the tail wheel starts to come up. Okay? Now get on that center line. Come up that roll rivets. Come to the right. Come to the right. Keep driving it. Keep driving it. All right, let's go fly.
And we're off.
Yep. So what's driving you crazy is that you're trying to use the ailerons to get yourself on the center line of the runway. What we need to be coming in is a slight bank into the wind with opposite rudder. If we shallow the bank, we'll slide over to the center line. If we steepen the bank up, we'll slide into the bank. Make sense at all or not?
Correct, I understand. And obviously, the greater the wind speed, the faster it'll shift.
Right. You know, it's a left crosswind, but it's cornery and it's not that strong. So now, because you have landed every time on the left side of the runway, you only get to use half the runway. You cannot land left of the center line. So you must land between the center line and the right edge of the runway.
Inside the runway, all right.
Now what's even more amazing is you've already made, I think, 4 landings without an airspeed indicator. I just don't understand how that can be done.
All right, to beam the touchdown point, 10 degrees of flaps. At 19 inches seems to work pretty good.
Okay.
1900 RPM. Okay, 45. Turning base. 20 degrees of flaps. Pointing at the throttle.
So pitches airspeed, powers altitude. If you're low, add some power. If you're high, take some power off.
40 degrees of flaps.
Now, how here play? Give me some right rudder. right rudder. There you go. Play with that a little bit. Just kind of feel yourself around on final. There you go. Now you're rock solid. Put that right rudder in there. You're reluctant to put that right rudder in there. Put some more in there just to play with it. There you go. I'm going to stay between the center line and my edge. Again, it's not a car. Just keep it down keep the fuselage straight. Just keep flying down, flying down, flying down, flying down, flying down. That back pressure, just a little bit. Hold it on. It'll come down. Fly it down some more. Fly it down. Fly it down. Good time. Good time. So now we're doing the bounces. So now push it over now. Push it over. Let's come back down. I got it.
Got it? Airplane.
Don't watch this. And we can pin it. And go.
Alright. I'm down for you.
So what happens is people get it bouncing and they don't give the airplane any more energy to work with. And each bounce takes less energy away. It takes energy away. So if we get it bouncing, either go around or give it some more power, get it back up flying. You saw how I got it flying, and then we just throw it right back down.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. Just give it time. Time. Push it forward. Push forward. Come on, pit. Off if you're staying. Down. Tail down. Get it stopped.
How did you think the day went?
Exhausting. As soon as we climbed back in that cockpit and you started talking and instructing, it took me back 35 years. I mean, it was just the same Leigh Smith, just constant verbal correction and advice. But it's always a joy to fly with you just because of your professionalism. And obviously, and I'll be the first to admit it, that probably complacency would be a good word to describe my technique over the years, flying Stearmans, bird dogs, 180s, champs, Cetabrias, and you typically come in and just 3-point it, and again, like you said, you get lazy right at the roll out there at the flare, and so it's good to be able to do this, and to make a pilot realize that. Like you said, you have to be flying constantly and always searching for that professionalism, I'll call it, just to keep that technique honed and sharp every time. So it was exhausting, but it was a great day. I sure enjoyed it. Thanks for your time, Leigh.
Thank you. It was great. Yes, it's really important. If you folks want to go out into the backcountry, you have to be able to do some precision flying on a runway. If you can't land and take off on the center line, you have no business in the backcountry. So it's precision flying if you want to go fly in the backcountry. So practice, practice, practice.